Hi, Hindu. Let me know about these beautiful, beautiful skins and patch notes changes.
Welcome to another patch notes experience. This patch is called Summer Knockout, I believe, and is 4.16.
Why do you look so
We're going to start things off
right now,
as per
Hindu?
usual with the skins, or at least
why
a
are you
little
so
look at the
grainy?
product for them. So
Did
you
just
guys
me
at
or
home
send you a
know
little,
what's going to be
a little,
at the top of the shop, we're going to be having Fire Dancer Jubalonke. Yes,
that looks pretty good actually.
Coming your way, and he looks like a
That's
fire
better.
mover. So
Maybe Hindu's just blurry.
Game at some point. We'll see when we get to that.
Pretty good hit. That's pretty good skin.
Baywatch CHULAINN or CHULAINN or whatever you want to call him.
What the?
He has a surfboard. I don't know if he's got it in game, but we'll find out later on.
I like it, dude.
And I do like the dude in the background who's looking all surfer broy. It's like an
they better nerf Colin though.
Alternate, awful, evil looking
OP
or something like that. After that is Dropkick Terror. You may have heard of this or seen it on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Earlier on, wrestler version of Terror. We'll see how that looks.
Hell yeah,
we have
dude.
Serenity Vamana. That's also going to be available too. Looking
quite
lovely.
That's a cool ass skin.
And the one I'm hyped for, which you probably saw in the intro.
Didn't see that one coming.
Barely Buzzed Bacchus. Well, I don't think.
The Bacchus skin. What? How did they not make that? Oh my goodness! I could have. I was like, oh, obviously it's RTO. Nah, man.
In that card up.
Barely Buzzed Bacchus. Wow.
Ganesh. I believe that's going to be a tier 2 skin available for him, and a lot of people were talking for more skins for Ganesh. Well, there's a new one coming, which we'll see in game. And last but not least, RTO will have some mastery skins as well added in this patch. But we'll get to all those a little bit later on today.
Okay,
joining me on the set, as per usual, is good old Pon. How you doing?
Pon.
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a good day.
Ready for an exciting day of patch notes?
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool skins. We got a lot of cool Project Olympus stuff that we've been working on.
I feel like Pon is always so much quieter than Hindu. Like Hindu's voice is always so nice.
About Connor's Cure. Basically, we're going to have an event in the game to do with Connor's Cure, which is about raising money for pediatric care for children.
Cool.
And the main thing is that we're going to be doing a bundle in the game, which will include the Terror Dropkick skin. I can't say words today. Along with a punching bag ward, a cutesy Dropkick avatar, and also the Wrestling Bell Global emote. You can purchase that in game, and every $1 of every purchase will go towards the Connor's Cure in conjunction with the WWE and the V5 Foundation.
And we should actually be able to show off all that stuff in game today.
Awesome. Well, we'll get to see that a little bit later on when Pon actually works out how to do the usual stuff on the PC. Are you all ready today? Have you got all the emotes and things ready?
I've got all the emotes. I've got everything. I should have everything. I'm not gonna put myself on the line right now. Cool.
Well, you mentioned a little bit earlier Project Olympus. We'll go straight into that first of all. Project Olympus we've been updating throughout the last couple of patches, and this one has got some new ones coming to it as well. This one is going to have Vivox or Vivox.
Vivox.
I got it right the first
time.
Is that the in-game
comms?
Integrated voice chat.
Yeah, this is a big one that people wanted. It was teased earlier this year. It's finally coming to Smite. Pretty exciting.
Now, with this voice chat, though, so you guys home as well know, just to confirm when we pump on, it's available in custom games and in ranked games and in parties.
Yes, in parties.
Okay.
So if you're in any one of those modes, you'll be able to use Vivox. It'll automatically join everyone together that has it enabled, and then you guys will just be able to talk. You can set like your push talk if you want it voice activated, modify levels. You can mute people that are like maybe they're like just talking static or there's dogs barking in the background you don't want to hear.
I love it,
You can mute them individually. So
finally, I can as a support make calls, dude.
For fun. Like just lower and higher pitch.
Yes.
That's what I'd like.
I mean, you can just do that on your audio settings yourself.
That's a good point. I just want to F-dot if I'm ever agree with him.
Rank's gonna get so much.
That's Vivox anyway. That's gonna be in the game. Integrated voice chat for you all. You're all like super excited. We'll see how many of you actually use it though, because you all asked for it, and we'll see how many use it.
Well, it's in game. You don't have to download any separate client.
Whatever.
Hell yeah, I'll use it.
Whatever. Anyway, on top of that, though, we're also going to be updating the Learn tab glossary.
Yeah, we have a glossary.
There's a Learn tab.
There's a Learn tab that has updated videos, and that has a glossary.
And what does this glossary? What's the glossary going to entail?
It has a ton of words that are various like MOBA terms or online gaming terms or things that like. Proxy was a big one. I actually asked on Twitter a few months back for words that people didn't really understand, and proxy was a really big one that people didn't understand, like the concept of.
Okay.
So now if you don't know what that is, you can actually just go search it, and you can read what it is, and it'll actually link you to other words that are related to it. So it's a pretty cool feature, especially for anyone who's new to MOBAs or who just doesn't understand a specific term that was recently used.
Okay, cool. So have a look at that Learn tab in the glossary. It should be available as well in the next patch. But that's it for the Project Olympus stuff. We can move on to gameplay changes next.
Yeah.
Gameplay changes for Smite, sorry, Conquest, I should say, first of all, is the Fire Giant change. We're going to be adjusting the Fire Giant. Will no longer spawn lava pools underneath pets.
Yes. This was a really big thing where pets, especially characters who can spawn multiple pets, if they spawned at like the wrong time, it would actually spawn lava pools under each one, and lava pools just do massive damage. So you could be that hero Bakasura coming in to ult and secure the fire giant. Lava pools spawn under all 6 of yours, and you just wipe your team, and you're like, oh, that was not good. So now pet users don't spawn fire giants.
So in theory, pet users get a little bit of a buff because of that.
Yeah, so they won't have to be afraid of using that depending on like when they join the fight, when they start fighting the fire giant. They can use it to burn the fire giant if that's what they want to use like their ultimate or their pet summon for.
Makes sense. And then on top of that, not just a conquest change, but this one's going to be a jewel change up next. You guys have been asking for it, and somebody here has listened for sure. Jewel, increase the amount of bands while drafting from 6 to 8.
Wow.
8 bands. So are all 8 bands going to be at the start of the mode, do we know?
I'm not quite sure.
I'm putting you in the spot with that one, because I just realized
I believe they're all at the start.
How would you not have them at the start?
And the big thing here is we just wanted to give players the tools they needed to like fan out picks that they didn't want to play with. If they wanted to strategize a certain god and there was counters, they can now have more opportunity to counter that.
I'm ready, dude.
Just a big request that people had.
There you go. 6 to 8 bands. 2 additional bands.
That's
you
sweet.
guys and Jewel. Next up is miscellaneous changes, and this is just going to be fantasy point tipping. We've removed the sound effect for when the tipping window was about to end. So instead of having that countdown timer to death, which makes you sound like you're missing a queue, it's not going to be there.
I remember we implemented it, and some people came into the office, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, I thought I was missing a queue," so I ran back straight to my computer, and it was just, "Oh yeah, tipping's is about to go away." So now it just doesn't make a sound.
So that's miscellaneous, and we'll move on to bug fixes next. Literally bug fixes. Oh, there's quite a few.
Yeah.
You've been busy, Paul.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So far, so good on the patch.
First one up, Stinger. Updated the description of this ability to correctly state Stinger's range. Oh, that was worded differently than usual. That's exciting. Thank you. Arachne. Web changed how web functions in regards to slow immunity. Players who are slow immune will still leave behind web trails on the ground behind them.
That's
the keyword pet has been added to the description to convey Broodling's classification.
Yeah, so the first one is just kind of a nice update to Arachne. Now someone like cleanses off the slow, especially with like
sprint.
Yeah, so if like Heavenly Wings gets popped, it will no longer.
That's actually a big gameplay implication for
this also has some interesting effects with other CC immune things. We'll see how it goes, but this will be. It's a bug fix as well as like a nice quality of life update to Arachne.
And then the pet version is just to try and put that in place?
Yeah, so we went through all the pet gods in the game.
Basically means you always have your
web
for the full duration.
or in the description.
Cool.
Because we actually had a recent blog post on this where pets and decoys function differently and have very different rule sets. We want to make sure that's explicitly clear when you have the ability and you're reading the text so you know how it's supposed to function.
Ganesha, next up, Good Fortune will now display the amount of kills granted to his allies. That's kind of cool.
So now you can just see how effective he's been doing at giving kills to his team.
So then you can find out at the end if you were... Can you say...
You will be able to see it at the end.
It's just a personal player that can see it.
Yeah, so they can see... They can at the end, if someone's like, oh man, 0-11, they can fire back, well, I actually got 6.
Gotcha. I got 6. We'll find out how that works out for those players. Cousin Bo, the Nene Kappa, the keyword pet has been added to the description to better convey his Nene Kappa's classification.
Yep.
Just like the Spuds. And Decoy for Loki, the keyword pet has been added to the description to better convey his decoy's classification.
Yep.
Then Raiju. The keyword pet... No, I'm joking.
No,
Raiju's
not a pet.
Raiju's not a pet. Don't be silly. For Raiju fixed an issue where early ranks of this ability were not slowing enemies properly.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So a bug fix that'll also make him a bit better.
And Sun Wukong, finally. Can you guess what this is going to say, boys and girls? It's to do with the Somersault Cloud. You guessed it. The keyword pet has been added to the description to better
I'm glad there's all that pet added. Beforehand, I was confused.
And that's it for bug fixes.
That's a good thing.
Got some good stuff in there.
Now it's on to items.
Yes, there's a lot of items to go over, and there's a pretty good amount of gotcha to go over too.
Are they gonna actually put up
Sundering Spear? You guys at home have been talking about a little bit, at least from what I've been seeing. And we're gonna actually be giving it a little bit of a buff this patch, not too crazy, I hope. Decreased cooldown from Sundering Spear from 160 seconds to 140.
That's a good change.
And the same can be said for the upgraded version of Sundering
Nobody
Spear.
was using Sundering Spear, period.
160 seconds to 142. Pom Pom, why are we doing this?
So we reworked it recently, so it was a lot less frustrating. It's more of the initiator tool that it was kind of meant to be used as instead of the finisher tool. But that also limited its use cases. In 160 seconds, it felt really punishing to use that and have no relative
trash, Pon. It was trash.
Especially because it was like only single target affecting, and you had to skill shot and you had to act on it. So we're reducing the cooldown to 140 so that when you pick it up, you get to use this effect more often, so it feels more impactful.
Makes some sense. Next on the list is Heavenly Wings. Decreased movement speed buff from 40% to 30%.
It was a little bit too strong.
And the same can be said for the Heavenly Wings upgrade, which is going to go from 40% to 30% as well. So 10% reduction on this.
Yeah, so I probably should have mentioned to this on Sundering Spear, but all the relics that we're hitting today are very minor adjustments to kind of bring them a bit more into line. Overall, I think we're pretty happy with how relics are right now. We're seeing a pretty good variety. Horrific emblems being picked up. Some people are messing around with Girdle. There's a lot of kind of like team strategy.
Heavenly Wings is one of the stronger.
There were a few that were a bit too dominant, so we're toning them down a little bit. They're still going to be very useful. They're still going to be utilized, but we just want to bring their power level down so that all the other ones still feel like they're very useful. You don't feel like you're obligated to pick at least 1 or 2 of these.
Some minor tweaks.
Yeah, that means they're nerfing Shell. In that case, they're nerfing Shell. So if we don't see a Shell nerf, we would just lie to it.
But the enemy team will have a bit more opportunity to act on it.
Better see one down to that.
That's Heavenly Wings, and then next up is Magic Shell. You guys
there we go.
It's going to take a small nerf this patch. We're going to decrease the health shield per shield scaling per level, from 15 to 12. It was 15 per level you got from this. It could be 12. But we've also increased the cooldown from 140 seconds to 150 seconds. And the same can be said for the Magic Shell upgrade. Exactly the same change. 15 to 12 in terms of shield per level.
It'll still be good.
Increase the cooldown from 140 to 150.
It'll still be good.
Just a minor tweak to reduce the effectiveness and how often it's up.
Yeah, we've seen some teams value only 1 of them. We've seen some value 2. Some teams have even gone a little bit more extreme on that. But we've seen
it's a good
mostly stabilize around 1 and 2. And so we just want to tone down the overall effectiveness of it. If you want to stack it, that'll also be weaker by, I think, 120 total health. So this is just to bring it down a little bit so that it's not so
It'll be in a good spot. It'll still be a lot
Let's have a look at the relics, at least for now, because next up on the list is Shaman's Ring. Now, we did see that AJ was talking about, he mentioned Shaman's Ring and Telekind's getting looked at this patch as well.
Good changes.
This one for me feels a little bit more of an adjustment than a really big buff on the Shaman's Ring.
Yeah, it's an adjustment to also kind of fix its consistency issues.
But it will make it better.
But it will make it better. It'll make it, in the situations where you'd want to pick it up, it'll make it more useful, and it'll be easier to fit into mage builds.
So here's a little look there.
I have become Pawn.
We're going to increase the cost, first of all.
For just a moment.
From 2200 to 2300. But we're also increasing the magical power from 60 to 80. That's a buff.
100 gold for 20 power is pretty good.
That's a good exchange.
But not only that, we've also changed the Evolved Shaman's Ring passive now only applies from damaging abilities, not just CC.
So there were there were a few abilities that were proccing this in kind of an unintended way that made them way better than others.
Oh, Puncon!
Wanted to normalize that.
Puncon!
Shaman was a bit more consistent.
Okay.
But the big thing here
Look at me! I've got arms coming out of my head.
A lot more utilized in builds, especially because that power will directly translate when you get the 10% damage increase as well.
Sure.
So the extra 20 power when it's combined with the scaling, and then the bonus 10% damage makes it a bit better. So overall, it's definitely an adjustment. It definitely
is a bug fix, 100%.
But for the characters it is good on, it should fit into a build more regularly.
And the next one on the list is Telekind's Ring. This is going to come down in cost from 2,700 gold to 2,400 gold. And Telekind's Ring should now stack its passive from damage over time, so dot effects in the game. Updated the description to clarify this effect only stacks on damage dealt to enemy gods. So dots now impact this.
Yes, so not only is it cheaper so you can build it more regularly, but there's a lot more characters now open to this item where they can quickly wrap up the power by maybe dotting something like Jean-Qui's card. Maybe he wants movement speed and power.
I was going to suggest which one do you expect. So Jean-Qui's a good example?
I think Jean-Qui's an interesting example because his burst combo, like he cards you, lets it tick 3 times, and then just choose you, and he's going to hurt you really, really badly. And then he'll have that power for his ultimate as well. So it just opens up the characters that this can be useful on.
So 300 gold reduction and a couple of changes there with dots and such. We'll see how that works out for Telekind's. And the last item to get changed this patch is going to be Dynasty Plate Helm. Small adjustment to an extent, increased physical protection from 25 to 35. I'm a liar. That's not a small adjustment. That's a big 10 physical power protections.
So these bridge items are kind of meant to be these really cheap, powerful items that then have late game implications that you've bought it. It's not a full tier 3 item. But Dynasty Plate Helmet, especially when it had the 15 pen on it, was a bit too potent. It provided a lot of synergy stats with all your damage. It was an item that you didn't want to sell, and it was pretty much.
So now it's just down 5.
So we're shifting the kind of focus. We nerfed it. It's now a bit too weak. We're now bringing up its protection, so it can be very clearly this anti-physical item that still gives you pen and still gives you power. Especially like, let's say you're against a Chiron mid and there's a jungler who's harassing you. You can pick up this item, get armor, you'll be a lot more survivable because of it, and then that can help you get into the late game.
See how that works out. That's all the items for this week. But next up, we have some god balance changes, and hopefully you're all home praying right now that your god doesn't get nerfed.
Oh God, I'm British!
The ones that you hate get nerfed, and the ones that you love get buffed.
I always knew this day would
come.
Someone's
gonna be mad.
You reckon?
I mean, someone's always mad.
Let's find out. We're going to start in A. Artio is the first one on the list, and Artio is getting some buffs. And by buffs, I mean nerfs.
Thank you.
Mole Prey, we're going to decrease the magical power scaling from Mole Prey from 35% to 30% per swipe. But not only that, we're going to decrease the base damage from 50 to 170, is now going to be 40 to 160.
Good,
as well as Life Tap. Life tap is also going to get changed. We're going to decrease the slow per stack from 20% to 10%.
Loving it.
And decrease the self-healing of this ability from 15 to 35 is going to be 10 to 30 per hit.
So her identity as a kind of guardian character is one that can get into the fight and just be this constant presence that is very, very hard to deal with. She can get in, deal a lot of damage, heal herself up, bring a lot of control. But that's kind of like her gimmick. She doesn't have that like same initiating power. She doesn't have that same kind of hard lockdown to go back and peel like.
Those are all good changes. She's just too strong.
But this ability to be in the fight and put out so much pressure so consistently was a bit too high. So we're toning down her damage, we're toning down her self-sustain, and we're toning down her utility so that there's more opportunities for enemies to actually get onto her. They can burst her down. They might be able to burst her down. If she's staying in a fight for a long time, she'll be doing less damage overall.
If she gets nerfed enough, eventually the junglers and solo laners will let supports play. So we're just gonna
keep her identity, but like just keep tweaking her in different areas until we find out exactly where she should be.
Eventually.
If she's a bit too frustrating in the current kind of role she has, these changes are very targeted to reduce that frustration and make it a bit more manageable.
Next on the list is going to be Kronos. Kronos is going to get a bit of a nerf this patch too.
Please don't
decrease magical power scaling from 85% to 80%, and also accelerate the decrease section 4 basic attack damage buff from 45% to 35%.
Nice.
Now I believe these changes upon these was before we gave ridiculous amounts of love to Kronos, where now you see him in the top flight quite regularly. This is just a turning back into line, really?
Well, we did not do Time Rift. We did do the section 4.
Sorry,
yes. And basically, when we removed Fatalis a long time ago, we gave him a whole bunch
pretty
of
decent
to
nerf.
this new identity as a mage, bring back tools that he needs.
To be fair, screw Kronos for forever,
that route. Especially with the new passive that he has, and the kind of way the meta shift, especially with the harder to kill towers, Section 4 being very good at shredding those towers. We're just looking to tone him back down. He's a bit overperforming right now. And so we're targeting his ability to poke effectively just a hair by reducing the scaling by 5% on Time Rift. It is a 5-second cooldown, so the amount of times you're pumping that out will matter. And then the ability for him to like turn on that Section 4 and start chunking people for these huge autos and chunking towers and phoenixes for these huge autos.
I mean, 45% was a little bit,
it's a bit much, especially now that he gets the free power.
It was a bit much, wasn't it? Yes, it was.
We've seen a lot of games later and later.
Sure.
So this is just to bring him back down to the line. He has a really good identity now as this kind of mage and hybrid.
He'll still be
attacker,
good. It's not going to kill him. He's going to get spot.
So these changes are targeted to bring him.
He was getting picked a lot.
Next up is CHULAINN. It's a small buff to him just for quality of life more than anything else here by the looks of it. Increased healing reduction from 40% to 50%. Basically all the other gods are that way already, Pop.
Yeah, all the other gods that have like the only like 50% anti-heal have 50%. He was
did not just buff.
He's mostly middle of the pack right now, and so this
no,
is
you
really
did not. I'm getting trolled right now.
Anti-heal. It's just really for the consistency.
Sure, and he is middle of the pack, you said too. I know a lot of people out there, like, CHULAINN's really strong right now, but from what we know, like, he's right bang in the middle.
Yes, players have learned to, like, utilize his early aggression from when he transforms, especially in the laning phase. If they can get that kill, he's pretty good, but if he doesn't get that kill, he does okay. And kind of how players are learning to play around that. He's mostly okay.
It's Capri. Left again for all you Capri.
Middle of the tag.
We're going to be looking at Scarab's Blessing this patch. Adjusted this ability's timing to allow the target to immediately receive Scarab's Blessings. Players should no longer be interrupted while casting this ability.
Yeah, so it had a 0.1 second cast time, which is very, very small.
Sure.
And it's so small that like players can't see that that's coming and interrupt it. Like they'll try and preemptively stun him, but you'd start casting it, you'd see your animation, then you get stunned out of it, it would just feel bad. So that doesn't happen anymore. If you're going to cast it, you're going to cast it. It won't be interrupted, and it'll appear on the targets a bit quicker.
Okay, nice. That's Capri, and next on the list is Skadi. Now, Skadi's seen a lot of play just lately, and she's going to be taking a little bit of a nerf this patch. Permafrost, which everyone's been complaining about. Permafrost decreased physical power scaling from 60 to 50% first of all.
Hindu made that ability, by the way.
Decreasing the movement speed bonus on this, it was 40% flat.
Oh,
it's now going to scale as you rank it up from 20 to 40%. So starting 20, all the way up back to where it was.
Giving yourself a mini sprint, especially early on with a single point, is very effective, and it keeps her alive. It makes it very hard for her to be aggressed on, even though she is kind of unsafe unsafe hunter. And her ability just to kind of lay down the ice carpet in the middle of a team fight late game and really poke for effective damage and then give her team a way to initiate. She was just a bit overtuned in that regard, so we're toning down her ability.
Make her early game a little bit harder.
And we're also making it so in the early game, unless she invests points into Permafrost, she's going to be a bit less safe.
Okay, we'll see how that goes with Skadi too. And then
she'll
last
still be
but
good.
not least on the list this week is going to be Susano. Susano's going to get a little bit of love.
And buff. Hindu, you're loading.
Base stat's going to increase his movement speed from 365 to 370, so a little bit more mobile for Susano, as well as wind side.
I'm British again.
Increase the cooldown from 18 seconds to 16 seconds. He's been hurting a little bit, Pon.
Yeah, he's been struggling. He was a character that was really frustrating, and we did a lot to reduce his frustration factor with changes to his ultimate and then the final change to his passive where his movement speed.
Yeah. Susanna wasn't getting played at all.
Which made him very hard to chase. Now without that, he's a lot easier to manage when he decides to engage.
As much as I hated when Susanna was in the meta,
and so we're bringing back some of the movement speed that was really low because he had that passive,
so
that he's a bit more mobile just in general, but he's not going to be as mobile as he was when he had that fully stacked passive after he engaged on you. And then we're also giving him additional utility rather than damage by upping Wind Siphon's ability, how often Wind Siphon can be used.
Yeah.
It's a pretty strong initiation.
I like that. I like the animation Pon did.
But it's not really a direct hit to his damage.
Okay. What's your favorite thing in the items and all the balance?
I am curious to see. Shaman's Ring is this real kind of weird item to me because like it's like the immediate benefit isn't super obvious, and when you build it, some people think you need to build it early, some people think you build it late because that's when you have the damage. And how people start building that as well as Telkine's Ring into their build, I think it'll shake up mage builds quite a bit.
BrickCon and PonCon.
Well, I'm going to get ready to let you go then, because you've got to go and get ready for the skins to show off all the...
Show me some skins, Hindu.
You better have it already. While Pon's going to go and do that, though, boys and girls, what I'm going to tell you guys is we're doing the caster show very, very soon. It's going to be airing on Twitch, and it'll be available on multiple platforms for sure. But have a look at one of the contestants on the show. You may recognize him from days gone past. It's Shadow Boy.
Hi, my name is Major Cosby. I am 23 years old, and I'm from Louisville, Kentucky.
I know Shadow Boy.
I just graduated from school, and I did have a job as a manager at Radio Shack, but that actually went out of business, so I just kind of focused on school for the remainder of my senior year. My biggest accomplishment was the very first time that I actually was flown out for a LAN event. It was for Iron Gaming in Smite back in like 2013, 2014, I guess. I did a lot of practice casting on different things. So I started off, of course, on high-res games, but I did some random stuff. So I would be taking trips to different places. Where I went to school was actually a very isolated area. So when we would take long trips, just as a joke or just as something funny, I would just commentate on them actually driving and just make it sound way more exciting than it is, or maybe way stupider than what it actually was. Just trying to have that on-the-fly casting ability.
On-the-fly casting, dude. Loving it.
As you can see, coming forward for the caster, but now he's back to the desk for some more continuation of the patch notes. It's everyone's favourite section.
That's true.
For sure.
He does like,
it's where we bring Chuck, AJ, and Fishman on to look at the skins, and Chuck can tell us more about details about what went into making these skins.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Wait, what was that? I did not understand that sentence.
More details.
More details.
What was the behind the scenes of these skins?
Chuck, you're here for one reason alone, to explain skins. Let's get on with it real quick. Show the card art for me, please, at least. Fire Dancer Jibalonke will be the first skin we're having a look at today.
That's a cool skin. Too bad it's a useless god.
I just hope he reflects in game.
Oh, well, you're never going to see that skin, ever.
In-game is pretty cool, too. This is an idea we've been bouncing around with Jibalonke for a long time, because the way he spins his weapon is very reminiscent of the Hawaiian kind of fire spinner style. So
is that a tiki torch?
I mean,
no.
Yeah, but
it's a tiki blowgun.
Sure, it makes sense. I get it.
I'm sorry.
Oh, please tell me.
Tiki torches are racist now.
Isn't he?
We'll see.
Oh, please. That sounds great.
But really, in this summer of Smite this year, we were trying to reach out our summer kind of genres instead of just doing like beach and pool. We wanted to go a little bit wider, and the Tiki theme came up when we really liked how it worked with Opwatch and Jibalonke.
Why does their Smite client always look so bad?
Summer skins to be summer themed.
I feel like their Smite client always looks so much blurrier than like it needs to be.
Beach bots can only go
like
so
their
far.
bit rate is so low on the
fire.
stream.
Sweet flames.
Flame on, that's for sure.
Seriously.
I really like the branching with the fire.
There's your fire
He
darts.
did fire darts. That's the main thing. He had.
Yeah.
I like the application as well. It looks nice and clear that you've been poisoned too.
Yeah.
Or set on fire, I guess.
Slowing effects generally have that waist below swirl, so you get this good communication of what's going on.
The ultimate, of course. Kind of tricky to show up what it'll look like.
The skin is fine. They lag on their own servers. That's why they gotta turn down the stream quality. I believe that, dude.
But you'll see actually a ring of torches appear around you, and you'll have a very fire, like swirling darkness. It's a very fiery.
Yeah, the darkness has some flamey bits.
There's the torches.
Torches look awesome.
So those
but
will
you
move
can
around
see the torch tiki grass.
It's fine.
Spicy. I like that one.
That's a good voice line.
At the end of the day, Jibalonke is a terrible god, so like
Pompon's got it ready.
we'll never see it until they buff him. It's quiet.
The kind for real. As nuts. I am a tie. You can watch, but you can't touch. You'll burn if you come too close. You can watch, but you can't touch. How do you make a fire dance better? You can't. It's already lit, baby. Want to know a secret? I've always carried a torch for you.
Aww.
Bless.
What a sweet.
That's for the only 2 Jablonke players out there. That's what that was for.
Oh.
I'm joking. This
yeah,
boy.
there you go, Hindu. There you go.
He's always fun. Well, from fire to the beach once more with Baywatch, and it's spelled B-A-E.
Yeah.
Baywatch Cuchulainn.
So we pretty much try every year to have 2 bathing suits.
He's handsome.
Okay.
But we're trying to, you know, find a cool angle, right? So we did 666 SPF Morgan, which was cool.
Instead of pretty much instead of the standard ones that we do of like, hey, let's just put on a swimsuit, we're kind of looking for the kind of out there. Hey, how would Cuchullainn's berserk form look in a speedo?
Right.
So,
Right. Discussion.
Monstrous banana hammock.
So, you know, AJ wanted to see more of Cuchullainn's abs.
Of course, AJ
so
would
we
want to see
more of that.
Amazing.
And then,
community feedback.
God, that would have been so awesome.
Male characters.
I would have been so down for a giant monster
you know,
thong.
he had a lot of
you know?
opportunity. Because we could do the tartan
Release the monster,
and then we
dude.
changed the tattoos
10 out of 10.
to freaking dolphins.
I didn't
And
notice the
then
tattoos.
Wait, are they dolphins? I didn't see that.
Yeah, they are.
Pong, can we get a close look at those dolphins by chance? I know you.
Show me those dolphins, Pong.
Show me the dolphins,
And
Pong.
then Cuchullainn also has the snake necklace,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So then
So
we
now he's got
converted that
headphones.
into the headphones.
Yeah.
Right? And then you got the monster in a Speedo
And sunglasses.
with shark tattoos.
Wait, the monster is in a
Monster in a
Speedo?
shark
I love this idea if he is. Yes!
Boom.
I love this!
And I like the fact that the shorts become speedos just because of
Oh
the
my
size,
god,
and that makes
show
it a
me
lot
your
more
monster.
sense.
It gets big in the end.
Did he?
Actually,
I
He did
love
work
it.
on his, like, when he turns back into
That's
human
quality.
form, it stays speedos then after the first transformation.
So
you
now
know,
you
so it
want
just sticks.
continuity of ripped
Yeah,
clothing
'cause
based
come
on
on.
transformations.
I mean, basically, it's like Cuchullainn basically puts his
I love
pants
it,
back
dude.
on again. He's got like multiple pairs of spare
Thick,
pants.
dude.
We don't got
Thick.
time
One
for
of
this
his
shit.
godly powers is one of his godly powers is summoning pants. Maybe.
Some gods summon weapons as they throw them.
So guys, we're
Go on
having this
someone's
meeting
pants.
today to talk about the tech we'll need for Cuchullainn's pants.
to stay ripped.
We've had meetings that sound more
I'm just saying,
ridiculous
listen,
than that, honestly.
there'll be a thread about it somewhere for sure along the
That's a
area.
great skin idea, but it doesn't
need a Reddit
support
thread about
pants
this.
technology.
I actually really liked the combination of his like beach sunglasses over his like slavering monster maw. It was a good moment.
So I like the blue effects when you use the abilities on this. Obviously, that's a paddle that turns blue on his first ability. Second,
He actually
anger,
slaps
vent
you
water.
with the
Clearly
paddle.
He's sweating. It's
That's
kind of
pretty
hot.
troll.
That's what I've got with the gods sometimes.
I do like it.
And then the
Circular splash.
I like
the
the
usual
trolls.
salmon's leap. And the ult.
And we kind of did water on the base, and then it turns into sand on the monster.
And then we can look once again when Pond transforms. We can see speedos once more.
The skin's pretty good.
Right there too.
I admit. But then you gotta play OP
not that
Cuchullainn,
hard.
who just got
There you
buffed. I cannot believe
He's got infinite cooldowns.
they
as well,
buffed him, even if it was just a slight buff. Still.
Sand blast.
Sand, yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Sandy charge.
That's a cool idea. So sand instead of just water, it's sand.
Kicking it up. It's the friend you don't want to hang out with.
Boach. Oh, you got both beach themes here.
Chuck, your team's getting better. Is it you that's getting better, or your team? Like,
Everyone.
wow. That's nice.
That's a good skin.
It's
Quality.
just
That's way better than the
too,
Team
so
Milwaukee's skin,
here
to be
we
honest.
go.
AJ, this hair on your microphone's driving me crazy. Alright, cool.
Yeah, cool.
In the moment between Chuck and Age.
That was
I was afraid he was gonna.
That was cute. Little.
Hey, look! Listen, this is a public beach. There are sharks in these waters. Just saying. I built that beach a sandcastle. Beaches love sandcastles.
That's good.
Wow.
I like that
quality Tina.
Sometimes I wear a shirt on the beach so other guys don't feel insecure.
Oh, that's good too. Yeah, so sometimes we do different
That's
voices, but
good.
for this one we kind of wanted to really theme it like
That's good.
like Cuchullainn actually.
Beaches
like,
love
with Dragon,
sandcastles.
where we took kind of her personality to the beach.
Celtic
with her,
Beach
so.
Day.
Quality.
The Celtic gods actually went to the beach. They're not alter egos.
Thank you,
Well,
Tina.
Hercules is not going to be the only one with a wrestling skin. The next up on the list is
yeah.
Dropkick Terror. I love the fact the card art shows her with like the
I'd
Smite
let her
belt.
drop kick me
We
so
need one of
hard.
those belts.
Instead
We
of the
do.
hammer, you
Yeah.
want,
She
you want
can-
a
I
world
want a
champion
belt. I want a
belt.
world championship
She
belt.
can wrestle
That'd be
me,
great.
put
It was
me
also
into
really fun to
all
watch the
kinds of
team,
headlocks,
like,
dude.
design a wrestling outfit for Terra. That was pretty fun. Like, oh, what would
Get
she
him.
look
wear?
like? Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
the
had-
first
Get
thing you
'em,
need to say
dude.
is spandex. That's the first thing that needs to be.
Don't you
there we go.
worry.
Look at that hair.
Wait,
Her
wait,
hair's
wait,
badass.
there you go.
Boom.
It says
Terra
Terra
on the
on
cheeks.
her ass.
That's the main
What?
thing.
Love it.
She's looking ready to wrestle, that's for sure.
I imagine right now,
I want to know how the
chat could speak, we'd be like overwhelmed by the sound of thick.
I was about to say,
well, they always do whenever they see
right
Tara.
Yeah.
I mean, she was designed that way, let's be honest.
I thought the hot pink, hot cyan color.
That's so good, dude.
Pretty dope.
Oh, what?
Oh, that's cool.
Oh my God! Look at the graffiti Tara.
Back alley wrestling ring.
I was wondering what you're gonna do with the, the actual walls and the monolith and stuff. But that kind of fits.
That was hype.
And she gets the spikes with her passive look really great on her. She gets a lot more treatment here.
Yeah, she was like
new pieces of armor
So
and stuff.
cool.
If you're an old school wrestling fan, Legion of Doom style.
Yeah,
is what you're
exactly.
after.
Yeah, I was trying to think what it was.
I didn't
and
peg
I was
you
drawing
for
a
an
blank.
old school wrestling fan.
Don't worry, I've been
more
around
you
for a long
learn.
time.
Hell
wrestling.
yeah! Dude, look at that. That's actually
And
badass.
she can't punch it though, but she can dash through
She
it.
can punch it that way.
That's the main thing. Oh, the sparkles.
Two-hand flying Tara punch.
It's got a little wrestling ring trim.
Now I guess.
Oh yeah, ever so slightly.
Oh yeah, I can see that now.
I didn't notice that. That's great.
Yo, this skin is top quality right now.
Circular ring, and then the ultimate might be a little bit difficult for, you know, you don't normally see it on players, but you can see it on how it will look on Tara, I guess.
Oh, and you can't tell really. Oh wow, swoop the bricks. You can't really tell when from this view, but when she gets the
Oh, look at those.
armor, she gets
That's
the championship belt.
huge ward skin. What?
Yo, this is the
That
ward.
that ward is massive.
When you buy
Look how big that ward
you can use
is.
this ward skin on any god.
Sorry,
What?
you guys a heads up as he's actually just showing off the ultimate there. I'm just going to find that information for you real quick. The dropkick bundle, which will have Tara in it, this skin specifically, and the punching back ward, along with the cutesy dropkick avatar and the
massive
wrestling
ward.
bell global emote. Can we see the wrestling bell global emote? Is he showing it already?
No, he's showing that the ultimate.
I know, I'm just excited.
Oh, you showing?
Tara power
Their
at
Smite
a
World
feed.
Championship.
And there's the global emote, I guess.
3, 2, 1.
Oh,
Okay,
Tara
that's kind of cool.
power.
That's all going to be available in a bundle for 450 gems I've got down here. This is part of the Connor's Cure event coming in 4.17, which we're partnering with WWE and the V Foundation to fight pediatric cancer care. Every purchase of this, $1 will go towards Connor's Cure.
Heck yeah, about
Raising
that.
money for charity, as usual.
Always a good thing.
Always a good thing.
One of our favorites.
Voice pack time, Pompon. Let's have a listen.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Rock on! Friggin' girl power! I am the best there will ever be! I'm a 10-time champion! Come at me! Seriously! Get out of my league! Hello? 911? Yeah, I'd like to report a robbery. Looks like Tara stole the show! Booyah! I practiced my stunts by elbow smashing my BF and turning him over for the 3 count.
I mean, that's what you're into.
Whoa! Whoa!
Got the vapors.
Did she just say she smashed her BF,
so
dude?
nice and sweet and
No,
motherly
I'm
most
getting
of the time.
That's true.
Alright,
She's
it's
like
time.
trying to flip you over.
Yeah, she's very boastful. Yeah, she's doing the wrestler. You know, it's a lot of the showmanship.
That,
So she
for
really
anyone
takes
out there,
that.
reminds me of Death by Snoo Snoo. If you know that
Death
one too, that's what it
by
reminds me of.
Oh, by Snoosu.
By
Hey.
Snoo Snoo. Hey, good times. Next up,
Quite relevant.
Serenity Vimana
relevant.
is the next on the list, and this is the card
this is
that
a
was.
cool one.
I was intrigued by
That's a
this
cool
one.
skit.
What's
I
the-
can't
what's the
believe
idea behind
this was an
The
idea from
behind
Vimana,
this
but it's
is
cool.
for it.
Wait for it.
High tech Vimana.
In a world.
In a world.
In a
Yeah,
world
so-
where a baby can become
A
8
robot.
times as big.
Also still a baby.
And carry an
Where there are
umbrella.
Hindu robots.
He is a bit of a difficult god to skin. He has a
Zenyatta
lovely weapon, and then he has
Vimana.
this giant scaling part to him, which can
Sure.
cause some other constraints on the skin. So we're, trying to think of something that can make him look really cool, make him look a little more intimidating than normal, and the things that work well with his scaling and his weapon. So I think we liked this idea the most once we started working out what the umbrella would do.
Definitely, I like the way that turned out. That's
Yeah,
pretty hype.
because we were pitching a bunch of skins for him. We're like, but how do we make an umbrella fit with that? How do we make an umbrella fit with that?
Yeah,
and we're like the sci-fi one with like the laser umbrella.
Sure.
Everyone was like, oh.
Yeah, the force field hollow umbrella.
What the hell's
turned
that?
out pretty cool.
Hello?
Oh.
Whoa.
What is going on?
What is not supposed to be in the game yet?
Who is that? Hindu man killed Pon Pon.
It wasn't intentional.
What are you doing?
I'm sorry, I thought I was in ranked again, okay?
Alright.
I don't know what was I playing?
What?
That might have been a little sneak peek of something coming up soon.
Well, we
I don't know
know.
if that was like one of our interns who's like getting ready to go.
Because we never
but
frame up a sneak peek as a
I
pon
hope
accident.
someone clipped that. So you can see that later.
Do you know what? It would have been
Confirmed
better if
new
it was my
god
name,
does
like, 'cause I'm sat in the
6,000
camera right in the corner,
damage
'cause, like,
per
clearly
auto
me, 'cause
attack.
my hands are both
That's
up, boys and girls.
confirmed.
I think it was
You've been framed, Hindu.
Whatever
what
it is,
you
it
did.
looks OP. I saw over 6,000
That's
damage, so
confirmed.
nerf it before its release, please, for a change, okay?
Yeah, it probably didn't have any developer hacks used either.
No, probably not.
So you can see the umbrella rang and the rest of the abilities too. I like this. For me,
heart-seeking autos, dude.
For skins, I feel, and like in my head, the only
Y'all
one I
saw
ever
that,
was
right?
Little Mana,
This is
and that
heart-seeking
came out so
autos.
long ago that this will definitely take over for me already by just looking at it. It looks so much better.
Yeah, and that's still a fun skin, but
It
sometimes
is,
you
it
want
is.
a badass skin too,
Yeah.
and you want to have a little bit of both. So.
Post Scout, you want to have the choice, right?
Right.
Do you want to be silly? Do you want to be
I think we overspoke
macho?
then. I think the fans at home might want to hear what he does when he ults because it sounded like I could hear some.
Well, and having a very different effects, abilities, treatment is fun too. You know, if you play a guy a lot.
He said, "I am
I'm
enlightened."
Okay. That makes sense.
He's very.
I want to see it's cool. It's not as cool as the Terra skin.
Well,
because that Terra skin
origins.
was hype.
that's why Hindu Man killed him. That's the way it is. Of course it had to be. Okay, voice pack time then.
Hindu Batman.
Woohoo. You handle things well. That was empowering. I am not about vanity. You must learn to control your anger, or it will control you. You cannot hide the sun, the moon, nor the truth for long. Happiness comes from within. That's why it feels good to break wind. The Zen Master told me, do the opposite of what I tell you. So I didn't.
Clever.
Deep thoughts.
I like
Robot
it. Yeah,
Lamana.
deep thoughts with robot.
Why did the robot make a
Those are
heart
very
jump?
inspired by actual, I think, Buddhist Zen teachings. Yeah,
Especially the wind breaking. That's
yeah, that one's
an
extreme. That's the most lore accurate one. We had to put that one in.
The most lore.
Are you guys ready? Because I'm ready. This is the card
skin
that
is so
I
amazing.
tweeted about when I went, holy moly, when I saw this, I was
It's so
excited.
good.
I've not seen it in game either, like any of these skins this week. Barely Buzzed Bacchus is next on the list. Is Bacchus as a freaking grizzly bear with a honey pot?
Oh yeah.
Like, Winnie the Pooh fans out there are excited too, for sure.
Sure, I guess.
Man, I wish
I don't know if
Bacchus
we all
was
know
better
the
right now.
story of
'Cause-
the
oh,
Look at the style. Look how
oh
good.
God, I love it.
Made him very.
I like him seasoning the hive with
Damn, that's
This
good.
is very cartoony for us as well. Like, this is a different sort of style than we've really done either. I'm trying to think of, like, before. I think this is the first one.
Yeah,
And we love how just the way his texture and material look on his skin. And
Yeah.
it just looks, and his fur. I mean, looks so cool. I'm really happy with
and
how
he's
it
so
turned out.
happy. Like he's a very jovial
Look
bear.
at
Artio
this
Fortune's
bear.
gonna be the only bear in town. It's a different story now.
Not
Bacchus
for
is
long.
here.
No.
God, Bacchus has got such good skins now, man.
Look at those honey trails. So cool.
Yeah, I love the hit effects there.
So where did this come from? Like, where who came up with this idea of like, hey, let's make him a bear?
Tell us the story,
I think
Chuck.
this has been rotating around the community for a while.
Story. This was a community suggestion that we then, because whenever we get one of those, lots of times they're cool, and then we have to do whatever we have to do to make it actually work on the guy. But so we switched up some of those things, like we gave him the honey dipper thing.
Sure.
Your idea, our implementation.
Correct.
That's pretty quality
Yeah,
so
what's the
far,
ultimate?
dude.
Of course.
Oh,
Was that
look
bees
at all
coming out
that
too? Of
honey.
course it was.
Well, yeah, his
I love
his
it.
drunk.
Oh,
he's drunk
the
as
Odin will
bees,
never
actually.
stop
It's
now.
little bees
Oh, and
swarms
because
around, yeah.
this is
or his buff effects too.
because this is a end of event skin, I think he's got VXG.
Oh yeah, he has a
VXG.
unique emote.
Oh, does he really?
I've not heard about that. Oh God, no.
He's getting
no.
chased
Run
by
away from the bees.
Not the bees!
As you're going
Not
around
the
maps,
bees!
Before the game starts, just run around screaming. Ah, the bees, the bees.
I mean, to be fair, it's
That's
just
top
pro
tier.
players running around
That's
the map before
good.
the game starts, like as this skin, just with bees following them for fun.
Yeah, it's
So,
pretty
That's why we
hilarious.
can
so.
nice things, guys.
If you want to get honey, sometimes you got to tango with the bees.
I mean, I
That's
spend a
good.
lot of time running around as Kumbhakarn playing the guitar, so
Yeah.
How can you not?
it's kind of addictive to have
Loving
the
it.
VXGs. you
Yeah,
can
especially
just
the running ones.
fill time with. Yeah, the running ones are the best.
Can you do his clap emote as well? I want to see what the clap looks like in bear form, because I know a lot of people at home like the clap. Oh yeah, that's fine. that'll work. Everyone will be happy with that. At least I know some of the pros will be. They were right to just check up on that one. You got a voice pack too, I guess?
Sure do.
I mean, you would have it,
Yes.
or you sound like Bob.
You just. Let's go.
That's pretty good.
You are the best.
Oh God.
Spectacular. I do love honey. I do love honey.
That's good.
I'd watch out for the bees if I were you.
The skin needs its own kid
If
show.
you wanted honey,
Yeah, right.
you could have just asked.
Oh, this is so good.
Why don't bears like fast food? Because they can't catch it.
bears are slow.
I'm not clumsy. Pandas are clumsy.
Well, shout
Clumsy
out to
definitely.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you
Clumsy
see all those
reference.
gifs of panda bears just like falling around all the time.
That was so good.
That is true.
Bear
That is
Still
an
2 more sets of skins
excellent
to go.
quality
Two more
skin.
sets of skins to go. Normally we do it in order of like, you know, ranking, but I messed up this week. So it's, take blame for this. But it's Maharakta Ganesh.
Correct.
God, that's going to be Maharakta Ganesh.
Maharakta.
It's a TLC skin, but it looks
Boo,
great.
you suck.
Oh,
He looks
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So a lot of the
Son, you
a
can't
lot of
show
the
all those skins and then
gods
leave the
and
crappy
mythology,
tier
they
2
have
skin for
alternate
last.
forms
Yeah.
for when some kind of war breaks out, and they're like, Ganesh wouldn't.
Actually, it looks pretty. It looks way better in game
The multiple arms
Combat.
motif
than it
in
does
particular,
actually
I
on the
think, is
card
full
art,
and
which
take
is
away kind of
different.
meaning, so it makes sense.
It's actually a
So
sick
this
skin.
is,
What?
The kind
These
of
skulls
the
and
bowl.
Since when is the card art worse than the skin in game?
Sure is.
Tries to jam them in as soon as they're appropriate, and they're definitely appropriate here.
Huh, I haven't seen that in a while.
It's Chuck.
Like
That is pleasantly surprising.
maybe.
Just a little
If
bit.
you couldn't tell by how he
Nice.
Just a little bit. This skin looks great. Like that's gonna be
Yeah.
another one
Not-
added. I
not
mean, to be fair,
pretty
all
dope.
three, even though Ganesh's standard skin's amazing, the pink one's also good too. His alternate
Yeah.
skin, and so
He's got a
add this one to
diverse
it too.
color scheme on his skins, which is
Oh,
nice.
he's been
So,
bamboozled.
tier 2, you're not going to see any effects or
That's
voice back
that's
changes.
pretty
but
cool
the
for a tier
model
2
is
skin,
much more
though, man.
intimidating, kind of alternate warlike version of Ganesh.
Yeah, it
which is
turned
just-
out really awesome.
You know what
Really
you're gonna need to do?
badass.
Here's the issue, right?
That's
You-
about as
you-
cool
you
as we
recreate
get for
Ganesh
tier
in all these
2.
different colors, right? Obviously, these are law specific, but then you're gonna have to make a rainbow skin where he just randomly changes color and just cycles through them all.
Yeah.
Or
a rainbow
Ganesh-shaped
Ganesh skin.
crayons.
You
If
could
we-
also see there in his passive meter, you could see the number below it, which was
Oh, yeah,
added.
good
That's
point.
where it's going to show you how many kills you
Yeah.
donated.
Well, finally,
Flash up, make
we've
you
also
feel
got
good that you've done
RTO
this.
Mastery skins to show you guys at home as well. You saw
It's
the card
called
out a little bit earlier
Crash
on.
32
blue bear.
bit
There's a look at it
machines
again.
Ganesh.
And we should be able to see it in game. Is the bear blue?
Yes.
Does the bear change color completely?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm excited.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I guess he could have been a golden
I mean,
bear, but
to be fair, I don't normally quiz you, Chuck, before we go live with this. So sometimes I'm like, "Is this going to happen?" And you're like, "No," and I'm like, "I don't want to get too excited about the idea of maybe the bear changing."
That'd be
colours
cool
or
if
This
it
something.
does.
art where the
yeah,
the reflection of her is the bear. It's
That is
kind of
pretty
like
hype.
getting deep.
it's really cool. It's clever.
is
Clever
deep
way
down.
to show a stance switcher that they're not both characters at once.
Well, there she is in her. What do you class that as? You don't class it legendaries. I always forget the name of it. It's legendary.
It's golden, legendary,
Golden.
This is
Sorry.
golden.
I always get
Which is
confused.
called a golden.
I'm an
Mastered.
idiot. Like that. Well, here's a little look at that version. We should be able to see the bear form as well.
Let me see the
If
bear.
The cameraman will switch stance. Press the 4 key upon. Good
Ooh,
job. It's
the bear
blue,
looks
and
good.
it's still a bear. We'll take a closer look.
The
at
blue
that as
bear.
well with all
Yo,
the
legendary
gold
might
and
look
Tetris
mad
too,
hype.
and the blue around. Now that's the golden version. Obviously, there is the legendary and diamond versions
Looks
as
really good in
well.
Yeah, he
He
does. I like
does.
it a lot. And you know, we kind of did the recolor very golden bear, so I like that we did more color on the bear for these skins.
Legendary up next.
Oh, yeah.
Sporting
This
base,
could
obviously,
look
that's just
really
what
cool.
happens.
Because the black and yellow theme is
I
just
don't
so
know why, I've
good.
always preferred the black and gold over
So good.
everything we've ever
We
done.
always do. We do like
Always
this.
have.
It's just a cool color combination. It really is.
Pom Pom, you're here.
Yeah, I'm here now.
Chuck's
Oh.
gone. Pom How are you doing the camera there? Black
We have a computer and keyboard here now.
Oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty
Pom
sick.
can do everything all at once.
You
believe
do
it.
this
Yep.
remote.
Yep.
With
Was
your
that
power
Yeah.
of brain.
This
Did
is
you
a
kill
fearsome
yourself?
bear right
I
here.
gotta get
That
RDO
doesn't
to
help.
rank
And I feel
5.
a lot the similar.
I never cared about the diamonds. I feel like the diamonds always
Black
look
Dragon
worse
with
than the
gold like
legendaries.
I love the black dragon and the black bear. Super badass.
Yeah.
Let's see how diamond
It's a
looks.
dire bear.
It's hard to
That's
type
way scarier than a
telepathically.
real life black bear too.
Telepathic
Yeah.
typing, Pom. Yeah, it's tricky.
Oh,
Didn't work.
sorry. Pon Pon's replacement is doing their best.
Yeah, you have to. Oh,
No, that's the T screen. We don't need the T screen. Okay.
Go
Got
back,
it.
Pon.
you gotta make sure the camera's attached, and then
This
the
is-
switch class should
Yeah,
work.
switch class doesn't work when the camera's not attached.
There you go.
There we go.
See.
And here's the
Pon
diamond
makes this look
version.
easy. It's actually quite difficult. We've
Yeah.
all tried to do it at
There's a lot of
times.
hidden rules, and there's a lot of hidden ways that you can crash the game.
I really like the
Oh, really?
Yeah, the diamond looks great.
Does it look great
So is it
though,
gonna
or
be
does it look
Diamond Bear?
significantly
It's not
worse
Bear.
than the
Diamond
legendary
Bear.
skin?
Is it diamond bear? Da, da, da.
Okay.
It looks
mostly
like
teal.
looks like a
Mostly teal.
puke bear.
Teal.
That carries along with
I don't
other
know.
skins consistently.
Well,
yeah.
that'll be available in the next.
Not my thing.
Too,
on its
with-
arms.
Yeah, 'cause I was about to say
Yeah,
with the bear,
oh.
with the blink too. Oh, it's close up in my face
Whoa,
too.
hello, Hidden.
I'm a bear, but not that sort of bear,
Welcome
boys
back.
and girls. I'm sorry.
Should have thrown a wink at him.
I'm also married, so don't say any of that. Before we go on and continue onto the Q&A section towards the end, I'm just going to give you a couple of community updates. First thing first is basically just the one. Cutesy chests are on sale right now. Hopefully we should be able to see what that's in that the
God, that Thanatos is so good.
Chest roll after completing the
I've gotten a Thanatos
wins of the day. 3 of them.
Yep, weekend event.
3 of them.
Yeah, get your cutesy avatars.
Those are tough to get. You can only get those through special events and stuff. So
they're also good. Those avatars too.
Yeah,
it's tricky.
They're really fun.
I think everybody, when I roll, I'm like, oh, I got that one, but I'm like, well, it's still good, but it wasn't the one I wanted. But everybody's different.
Usually there's one you really want, so you got to be careful. You got to get it a couple times.
So the last part of this show today is going to be our Q&A with the developers and Pompon, who's basically there to answer questions too.
Your Q&A. I'm not interested in your Q&A, but as far as the patch goes, generically good changes to items, gods, actives. Only thing I can really think of that was nonsense is buffing CHULAINN. I mean, it was only a 10% healing reduction, but the point being he doesn't need any sort of help. He's already one of the better, if not best soul lanes in the game with like Wukong right now. So that seemed kind of silly. I thought he was going to get nerfed. RDO nerfs, I mean, Shell nerf, those are all good. The sprint nerf, all of that was all A+ changes. Skins are A+. That bear skin is obviously the best. Second being Terra. Not a huge patch, fairly small patch. The new god will be in the next patch. So, nothing too game-breaking, game-changing coming in this patch. But overall, nice quality of life improvements. Thank you guys for coming out to the stream. Thank you guys for your support. And as always, have a Twitch.